Brighton's finest.
Bringing the artists closer to you.
World's Strongest Man drops on May the 4th. How are you feeling about it?
I feel very excited. Yeah, I've been...
itching to get out?
Exactly, itchy feet, man. I've just been sitting on the record for a few months now, so definitely ready for everyone to hear it.
So Matador was critically and commercially a success. Did you feel any pressure to follow that up?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, it's just I always feel the same thing. I guess when I doing another record, it's just about getting a better one than my last one. That's the only pressure I get is really from myself to write better music. If anything, I think it sort of gave me some confidence. Knowing that Matador was just me in a studio, just expressing myself and just being instinctive and natural and it's good to get positive feedback about that, I guess. So I felt good going into this one, just be honest with my ideas and just get things down and just keep that instinct and spontaneity kind of running through it. I feel like I'm getting into a rhythm now.
And you've said that World's Strongest Man was inspired variously by Grayson Perry and Frank Ocean, stuff like that.
Well, the title, it's just a bit of a poking fun at that whole ridiculous kind of entitled alpha male thing that's feeling more and more old-fashioned as we go forward. It's just a bit of a sort of playful dig at that, really, the title. But the album itself is about all sorts of things. It's kind of a snapshot of my headspace over 2 years, really. So there's everything in there.
With the Frank Ocean and hip hop in particular, what is it that resonates with you?
I don't know. It's often production stuff, I mean, I'm just a solo artist. I'm writing, singular concepts. It's something that I'm doing on my own, and I start from a singular idea. So I think that alone, I can relate to other artists. Whether it's Beck or Frank Ocean or whoever that just build things in that way. Prince or something, or even Bowie at times, just can relate to that way of working and writing. Without a band around me in a room. So I've just really enjoyed that process. That's quite a free, exciting process to write.
Do you think that happens more in hip hop as well now?
I mean, from what I mean, it's not necessarily my school, but I can appreciate what I hear, and I think a lot of it is constructed, in a. I'll start something with a beat or like a loop, and then I'll just sit and play some piano chords to that loop, and then I'll loop a drum beat, and it will be a lot of it based around sort of loops and playing, jamming with myself ultimately. I don't know how individual hip-hop artists work, but I think it's that sort of starting from a solo point of view thing.
Because I think Walk the Walk has that kind of laid-back hip-hop beat to it.
I play a lot of drums in my studio, then I'll sample beats, and I'll sort of make my own break beats, as people would sort of sample from vinyl. I sort of sample myself. I get a sound that I love on the drums, and I'll record it, and then I'll make samples from it. And Walk the Walk was just, I think even on this session itself, it was, the drums were taken from my 404 sampler, so it's just like a mono feed of that drum beat just looping. I just like that kind of way of working. It feels kind of quite immediate. I'm not getting bogged down in production sounds for a whole band or anything. It's just all, take each thing as it comes.
Brighton's finest.
This is Juice.
The album is, a snapshot of my whole kind of headspace over a period of time. So some of the things on the record are more visceral and more emotional, or more kind of fed by like a mad night or just being in love or whatever. And then other elements of the record are kind of looking outward at some of the bizarre things that are happening around us, and I'm quite happy to feed those kind of things into lines, cultural things. But I wouldn't say, there's people who write in a political way a lot better than I could, so it's more visceral possibly, I think.
You released The Oaks as a 12-inch single for Record Store Day with a Left Field remix as B-side. How important is Record Store Day, and do you still collect records?
I think it's great. It's just great to see that there's still a lot of great record stores, independent record stores, that are doing their thing, and much like when I grew up and I'd go around Oxford to different record stores and pick up mad bits of vinyl, it still seems to resonate with people, which I think is great. And there are some of them that are dropping away, which I find frustrating and it's sad. But there's lots of ways of consuming music these days, and so I like to think there's probably space for everyone. There's kind of there's an ease about streaming, I guess, that seems to connect with people. And I think also, kids are still really enjoy buying vinyl. Seeing the artwork in essentially probably how it was supposed to be and how the band designed it for that sort of 12-inch scale. Yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool to see it all still going strong-ish.
And speaking of which, you're playing Resident Records in Brighton.
Yes,
May the
I know
6th.
it well. Yeah, I lived in Brighton for 10 years.
Oh, really?
Between 97 and 2006, 2007. So I had 10 years down there. And so, yeah, it's still my home. I still consider Brighton very much to be my home. And, yeah, many afternoons spent in Resident and a few friends that worked there over the years. And, yeah, it's great. I'm looking forward to getting down.
How different are those installs compared to a proper gig?
They're usually kind of chaotic and sort of manic but fun. Yeah, it's just something different. It's great to sort of be that close to the fans in the store and they get like an intimate. I get to play songs in a different way, just in a sort of more intimate way, and say hello to them all. It's lovely.
I think the record contains sort of thoughts and emotions of a more maturing artist, like much of your solo work. When you first approached that solo project, was that tone the one you wanted to set, or was it just because you were older than the Supergrass?
I don't know. I haven't really given it any thought. I think it's all just too instinctive, really, to kind of calculate anything in that way. I wouldn't want to kind of, mould a sound or create a sort of sound in a way, to appeal to anything or to think, I'm 42, I should sort of sound a bit more mature. It's way more, I think I've used this word a bit today, way more sort of visceral, I think, is the way. It's more just a feel. I think, the music that I write at the moment, it has everything in it. It still has throwaway, silliness about it at times, and equally there's some heavier stuff as well that you kind of dive into. But, life's sort of way more complicated than it ever was. There's loads more sort of going on in life, and maybe as you grow older, you sort of look outward a bit more and you look around you, and it's less about my own little bubble when you start to notice things, and I think they might come into the music. So there's all sorts of reasons why it doesn't sound like music I wrote when I was 18, but I think that's necessary, and it should be that way, just to evolve and to, this is Gaz 2.0, baby.
And you head out on tour soon?
Yeah, do some in-stores, which would be fun, just around the album release. And then, head off on the UK tour, May the 12th. May the 17th, kicking off the Garage in Glasgow. Yeah, it'll be a great few months, actually. I'm sort of all ready to go. The band is up and running, so I've got the full band doing the album.
Is it a different band from the last tour?
It sounds amazing. Yeah, same band. I think there might be a couple of little changes, personnel changes. But yeah, it's sounding massive, really, really great. So I'm just really excited with what they've done with it. We've managed to translate the record quite beautifully live. So yes, it's a very exciting thing.
This is Brighton's Finest.
Bringing the artists closer to you.